For thousands of years, mystical experiences have been described by the great spiritual visionaries from all over the world. The mystical experience is so profound and transformative that it raises fundamental questions about the nature of consciousness, about life and death, and reality itself. These experiences represent a direct encounter with the transcendent. We transcend our physical human identity and experience a sense of cosmic unity, oneness with all of the cosmos. Now, what's really interesting to note is that modern psychedelic research has found that under the influence of psychedelics such as DMT, ayahuasca, psilocybin, mescaline, and others, people describe states of consciousness that are strikingly similar to these mystical experiences that have been described for thousands of years. These individuals also reported profound healing and significant improvements in their overall wellness, which is just one reason why I think this topic is important to discuss. In this video, we're going to look at 8 of the core characteristics of mystical experiences, and stick around to the end because I'm also going to share some thoughts on what this all reveals about the nature of consciousness and the mystery of life. Let's get started. Welcome back to Cosmic Consciousness. My name is Jonas. Great to see you. Today I'm coming to you all from Jamaica, where I work as a psychedelic guide or facilitator. Please check me out at innervisionpsychedelics.com to learn more about that work. Now, real quick, I just want to take a moment to send you all some gratitude and appreciation. If you're watching this video, thank you so much for being a part of this Cosmic Consciousness family. I know it's been a couple weeks since I posted my last video, but in part that's because I've been traveling. Got some great content coming your way soon, so stay tuned for that. Mystical experiences sometimes occur in deep states of meditation or spiritual practice. Sometimes they occur spontaneously, and sometimes they occur after ingesting a psychedelic compound. But in all cases, and from all over the world, mystical experiences are described in the same fundamental ways with the same core characteristics. And I truly believe that this ancient mystical wisdom of our ancestors could be exactly what we need in the modern age to heal, awaken, and evolve to higher consciousness. Here are 8 of the core mystical characteristics to paint a better picture of what this experience is like. Mystical experiences begin with a shift in consciousness, and there's a sense of leaving ordinary reality behind. We know from research that psychedelics shut down what's called the default mode network in the brain, and this is often reported to feel like a sense of ego dissolution or ego death, where all of our human identity just fades away. Again, this shift in consciousness that can often feel like an out-of-body experience where we're leaving behind this physical identity and going beyond physicality entirely, beyond space and time, and entering into some sort of a transcendent realm. The second core characteristic is transcendence of space and time. Now, I know I just mentioned this, but again, in the mystical experience, it feels like we're beyond this physical universe. We're outside of space and time. The third core characteristic is cosmic consciousness, a sense of unity and oneness with all of the infinite cosmos. This is the core feature of the mystical experience. And if you're wondering where I came up with the name for this YouTube channel, look no further. The sense of separateness that we usually experience of me, myself, over here, and the rest of the universe over there completely vanishes into this sense of all-encompassing unity and oneness and wholeness where there's no separation between the observer and the observed. And this is a feeling of being infinite. I think it's impossible for the mind to really understand this, but the best way to picture it is a drop of rain hitting the surface of the ocean and instantly becoming one, unified with the entire infinite ocean. The fourth core characteristic is a sense of sacredness and bliss. In these direct encounters with the infinite, with the transcendent, there is this overwhelming feeling of sacredness, of awe, of reverence, like that feeling you get when you step into a sacred temple or a cathedral or an epic, beautiful place out in nature. And there's this sense of positive mood upliftment, of bliss, euphoria, ecstasy, and unconditional love. The fifth core characteristic is the noetic sense that this experience feels more real than real. The mystical experience does not feel like a fantasy or a hallucination or a dream. It feels more real, more fundamentally true than this lifetime, than this physical universe. In fact, it feels like fundamental truth is being revealed to you. The sixth core characteristic is that these experiences are paradoxical. These experiences are commonly described as paradoxical. They don't make sense to the rational mind. For example, you may hear descriptions of mystics saying that they are everything and nothing, that they are everywhere and nowhere at the same time. To the rational mind, that makes absolutely no sense, but in the mystical experience, all of these things and more are possible. In fact, you could say that nothing is impossible. The seventh core characteristic is ineffability. These experiences are so profound, they are so far beyond our everyday human experience. There are no words that can do it justice. There's no way to put this experience into language, to capture it in language. It's beyond the comprehension of the limited human mind. And the eighth core characteristic of the mystical experiences is that they are transformative and life-changing. These non-ordinary states of consciousness don't last forever. The mystic eventually returns to this ordinary reality, but their life is forever changed. These experiences are so powerful that it changes our lives forever. So looking back over these core characteristics, we can say that the mystical experience is essentially a direct encounter with God, with the infinite source of life itself, the ultimate reality. Whatever word you want to use for it, this is how it's described all over the world. And again, it's interesting to note that people under the influence of psychedelics also describe these God encounter experiences. Modern science tells us that all of these mystical experiences are nothing more than hallucinations, than fantasies in the brain. But is that really true? I mean, if all of these mystical experiences from all of the wisest people throughout history, if these are all hallucinations, then how can we explain the incredible degree of consensus and consistency in mystical experiences from different time periods, different religions, and different cultures? For me, the answer is simple, that these are not hallucinations. These are expanded states of consciousness where the doors of perception have opened and we're accessing a true glimpse of reality, of other aspects of reality that are real in a way that mainstream science hasn't yet discovered. And there's actually scientific evidence to back up this perspective, because consider this. The core teaching of mystics is that all is one, that self is unified with the infinite. This idea of oneness is supported by science. For example, the Big Bang Theory tells us that everything began as one. Everything has emerged from an infinite unified source energy. And more recently, quantum physics has discovered that beneath the surface of this physical world, everything in this physical universe emerges out of a unified field of energy and potential. So isn't this interesting to consider, that the most cutting-edge science in quantum physics is just recently catching up to this idea of oneness that the mystics have been teaching us for thousands of years? But in today's world, in the modern age, we've forgotten these ancient truths. We've forgotten our oneness. We've forgotten our unity. We've forgotten the fact that at the core of our being is an infinite transcendent essence that's beyond this human lifetime. We've forgotten that we're all interconnected. Could it be that the ancient teachings of the mystics are exactly what we need in the modern age to heal, to evolve, to awaken to higher consciousness? Personally, I do believe so. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. I'd be very curious to hear. If you enjoyed this video, visit me on Patreon to support this YouTube channel. I appreciate you all so very much. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you back here very soon.